Welcome back into Studio 5. You know, a lot of times we associate the word rejection with maybe the dating years, but when rejection happens within a marriage, the hurt runs even deeper, and it can come in super simple settings like disagreeing with your partner's plan or shutting down their ideas or their suggestions. So how can you heal from relationship rejection? Studio 5 contributor Dr. Matt Townsend says you have to essentially reverse the emotion. In fact, you point out rejection nicks away at a really basic human need.
It is the most basic need is acceptance. So the solution to rejection, it would be acceptance. You've got to make sure that your partner feels accepted, that they belong. Think about that. Forever we have kind of grown, we've evolved as a people that needs to be accepted into the group. And the minute you're starting to reject my ideas, you're rejecting me, you're rejecting parts of me, things that I've identified as who I am, my meal, my idea. If you start rejecting the concept that I can be a healthy, effective contributor to this relationship, the minute that starts to happen, then I feel less and less safe. And so my fight or flight kicks in and it's game on.
So what would be some warning signs in a marriage that your partner might be feeling rejection? Because I don't think any wife would intentionally set out to reject her husband.
But nobody ever intends to set out. But you'd start to see negative emotion. You'd start to see that they're talking really negative about themselves. They're playing the martyr. They're always putting themselves down. You'd start to see they're more reactive. They're more angry. They're more unhappy. They're more miserable. They're more distant. They pull away.
And even the small scale scenarios that we just presented, rejecting an idea or a meal, that can add up to those feelings.
That begins. And the funny thing about it is our body doesn't detect what the rejection is. Our body actually thinks it's pain. So what they did some fMRI tests, and they found out that in the brain sectors of in our brain, the pain sectors that actually identify pain and feel pain, when somebody has been rejected, those pain neurons are starting to fire, and that person is feeling actual pain, physiological pain for them.
So emotional pain and physical pain are pretty
exactly
much the same.
And rejection creates actual pain. In fact, they've actually proven that taking Tylenol will decrease the pain of rejection just like it would a hurt arm.
You're kidding me. So you're feeling emotional pain, and they've proven that Tylenol would help subside that.
Yeah, acetaminophen. And basically the irony of all of that is your brain doesn't distinguish then. So your brain feels threatened and feels the pain, even if the rejection was something as simple as, oh, you did it that way? Why did you do it that way? You never do it that way. And we're just putting down an idea. And then it kind of goes in our brain and we feel the pain. So in order to get rid of the pain, we need to learn this art of accepting other people.
Okay, so here's my question. Let's say you're seeing the red flags of rejection going off in your marriage in small ways, simple ways. You want to be more accepting of your partner, but let's say you just simply flat out don't agree with what they're saying or don't agree with the idea.
See, and that's the fear, is we always think if I accept my partner, then I must be agreeing with them. But you need to kind of differentiate between acceptance is not agreement. Accepting somebody as a wonderful, decent child of God, human being, somebody I love, doesn't mean they're always right, and it doesn't mean I always agree with you. So if I can separate the fact that I still love you, validate you, make sure you know you're great, and then I use just simply the word and I just disagree with you a little bit on this idea. I see that we could have made the meal another way, and it may have gone faster.
And phrasing it that way will eliminate those negative reactors.
And it doesn't have to impact you at your core. This isn't about your identity. This isn't about your whole entire worth. This is just you have a way that you like to cook and use the barbecue, and I have a way that I like to use the grill. And so it's just different. It's not a big deal.
We're talking about this in terms of marriage, but I can see a parental application too, from parent to child, the acceptance.
Exactly. And so we think about a child that doesn't feel like they're accepted. They might start doing things in order to get accepted. They might start becoming rebellious with a rebellious group in order to fit into the group. That would be peer pressure. And in our relationships, we feel peer pressure as well, but it's just as easy to not have to fight against you as it would be to just accept each other. And again, it doesn't mean I have to love everything you do. It doesn't mean I have to do everything you want to do. It just means I love you, and I want to keep validating that you are acceptable. In my eyes, you're always safe with me. You belong with me. We belong together. And the more you can voice that, instead of voicing something like, I don't even know why we're together. Like, why are we even together? That idea starts to fester this rejection, and then what it's going to create is a lot of negativity. And then those stories are going to start. Like, I know, I'm a loser. I can't even do the barbecue right. And if I can't do the barbecue, I may as well not even be here. So then what kind of man can't light the grill? So then we start to create these really negative stories, and you'll see it played out.
On the flip side, though, if you're accepting, do you see those negative signs go down?
Yep, almost invariably. When somebody feels safe and okay, they become less reactive. reactive. In fact, even they found kids that were in high school, this was like back in the year 2000, they found that kids that didn't feel accepted became more violent. Kids that didn't feel accepted and belonging to some group or organization, that were rejected or outcast, those kids actually became more aggressive. They became more violent. They got into more trouble. They had more kind of antisocial behaviors.
So imagine if they aren't feeling that acceptance at home on top of the peer rejection that they're experiencing.
So I'm going to bet you bucks, anytime you see an angry, upset, reactive, frustrated, down on themselves spouse, you've got somebody that's probably feeling some rejection somewhere.
Interesting. Well, you point out that there is one standout reason. If none of this resonates with you, there's one reason why you should accept your partner, just because it's right.
It makes things right. And if you believe that acceptance is a principle of creating a loving relationship, then start accepting the person. Try to focus more on growing acceptance in the relationship, belonging in the relationship, instead of rejection. It's usually never about right or wrong. And the minute you're in that argument, you're going to set kind of a relationship that rejects.
And can I flip it? In addition to maybe pulling up this conversation and playing it for your partner, if you're the one who feels rejected, what are some cues you can send or some things you can ask for to turn it around?
Well, one of the things that's really interesting is I would start to at least identify that I, without regard from my partner, I am an acceptable human being. My value's already set. It's not dependent on what my partner thinks or anything else in the world. It's not dependent on my job or my income. My value is already inherently there. And we've talked about the diamond metaphor that Kim Giles uses a lot. It's just simply, I am of worth. And as soon as you start to believe that in yourself, then I'd go have a conversation with your partner. But I'd use it from the understanding that, look, you're not going to make me or break me here. I just want you to know that I care about you. And I'd always start by loving them first in order to get them to love you. But I'd be more direct in my language.
More specific in what you ask for and what you say.
Specific.
Good stuff. Acceptance. We're going to work on it this week. Matt, thank you. And if people want more relationship help, we're encouraging them to now download your book.
Holy cow! I got my book has been out forever. Starve Stuff.
Yes.
Feeding the 7 Basic Needs of Healthy Relationships. There it is. And that guy's so good looking. And I say that to feel accepted. You can go now to Kindle. It's on Kindle. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere. Just go download. It's about $10. Piece of cake. Change your life.
We just moved recently, and one of the big clean outs I did was the bookcase, the bookshelf.
You just threw it away, didn't you?
No. Yeah,
Did you have Mark read it? Mark read it.
He needs to read it. No, that meant nothing. I'm just saying it's a good book.
That's a book he hasn't read yet.
It's a good book, yeah. But it sits right on the square of my living room bookshelf, so good job.
Such an honor.
Hey, switching topics, not too long ago, you played the role of father of the bride.
Oh, that's a hard thing.
To your only daughter,
My only daughter. My perfect only daughter.
What was that like?
It was horrible. It was actually beautiful because my son-in-law is incredible.
You love him, yeah.
Love him to death. But it's my girl. And so I didn't even know, but the dance.
Oh.
She didn't tell me about it, really. She said, we're just going to have a dance. And I'm like, whatever, I can tear it up.
Right.
But it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
I remember when you came in here after the wedding and you started talking about the dance, and Matt Funny Guy had us all, we were all in tears.
It was sad. It was really sad. So it was kind of like a morgue with a dance.
At a wedding.
It was like that at a wedding.
Yeah,
and she was in a white dress.
Well, thanks for setting that up for us. That's our next topic. So nice job. It is a tough role to play. And actually,